Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, this radio station will remain on the air day and night.
All right, so the last time...
How's your lips?
I caught that weird
Your
lip
lips
thing.
good? Yeah.
So the last time that I think we listened to a Peter Gabriel jam, he was riding a bicycle around a circular stage.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do we got this time?
Well, we're going to listen to a studio version, Dave. I don't think we have a music video for you this time. Actually, it's been so long since I saved this. I don't remember.
It's a lyric
probably
video you sent me.
Probably just a lyric video. So nothing to worry about. Gabriel, we know he started his musical career with Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left Genesis really as they were just starting to get real good, better chart success and things like that. They were kind of an underground band. And he went off, and I guess a lot of people thought that he went off, because he didn't want to have that kind of success and stuff like that. No, he went off and he had like great pop records, pop songs. He didn't carry on the tradition of progressive, necessarily long-form songs. The song we're going to be doing today is from his album called Us. It is his sixth studio album, came out in September of 1992. So you were a thing.
I was a thing. I was a 6-year-old thing.
Yeah. And this one is probably describing your life as a 6-year-old. It's called Digging in the Dirt.
You know what? That's solid. That's solid, John. And I'm now super into it. All right, here we go. Peter Gabriel, Digging in the Dirt. Oh, I can turn this up.
Sticky all the time, it's getting strong. The way of dealing with this feeling can't go on, that is too long. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. Don't talk back. Just drive the car. Shut your mouth. I know what you are. Don't say nothing. Keep your hands on the wheel. Don't turn around. This is for real. Digging in the dirt, stirring the need support. Digging in the dirt, find the places I got hurt. Open up the places I got hurt. The more I look, the more I find. As I close on in, I get so blind. I feel it in my head, I feel it in my toes. I feel it in my sex, that's the place it goes. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. This time you've gone too far. I told you, I told you, I told you, I told you. This time you've gone too far. places we got hurt. Digging in the dirt. Find the places we got hurt. Digging in the dirt. Find the places we got hurt. Digging in the dirt.
So, this is going to show some of just my lack of knowledge of this whole thing. It sounded like it sounded a lot like Peter Gabriel singing with, and I'm blanking on his name, the drummer from Genesis. Well, you got to turn your mic back on. That would probably be a mildly helpful thing. Oh, look at you. You joined us.
Yeah.
Anyway, the drummer from Genesis.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. And it's because that song reminded me of the Disney animated classic Tarzan. And so I kept hearing Phil Collins singing in my head, and I know that that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true at all. Yeah.
It did remind me of that.
So lyrically,
I think I'm Peter Gabriel. Have just left a band. I've gone out on my own, and I've done pretty well for myself. You know, I'm making it. But some of those wounds are still a little fresh. I've tried to put them down, though. I put out an album where I actually talked about some of it, and that was a bit cathartic, but I'm still having a few issues. And so I go into my therapist, and I sit down. And my therapist and I start digging in the dirt. All of the things that bother me. And so what we're getting is a snapshot of him laying on a couch in a therapist office and talking about the random things that are coming to the surface as he's working through past trauma. And he's driving in the car with his dad, and his dad's just going on and on. He's like, "Shut up and drive the car, Dad." And just all of this stuff is bubbling to the surface. That's what I get out of this song. There's no way that this is right. There's no way this is correct.
Dave, you're not too terribly far off in a way.
The opening to that song talked about having poop, and I don't care what anyone says. It's brown, it's sticky, and it's inside me. Like, what was up with that? That was a weird opening.
Peter Gabriel does turn things into weird wordplay. He was talking about his gunk. We've all got gunk. We've all got our past that we store, especially guys, we can compartmentalize so well that we can shove memories and stuff into this terrible place that ever opened, it would smell bad. You know what I mean? It would just not be good. And so he's talking, and you're right, this is a song about kind of going through a therapy. I don't know whether he actually did. He probably did go through therapy, psychoanalytic therapy type of stuff to work on his issues. Now, it wasn't necessarily about the Genesis thing, because this is his sixth studio album after that. This is over 10 years after that. However, it was following his breakup with Rosanna Arquette, the actress.
Oh, there it is. That's the trauma he's working through.
Right. And once again, passion makes for a pretty darn decent song. That song hit the top 100 in 15 countries, and its highest was in Canada, where it went to number 10.
What style of music was that? Because at some point I felt like it was gentle rock, and then we almost had a bit of a ballad piece in there. But then the bass line was almost a borderline funky at some points, and I was confused as to the genre, which to me, that is a compliment. I mean that as a compliment, because I like when you don't stick in just, well, this is how it's supposed to sound. Like, experiment, do stuff, have some fun with it. And I feel like he absolutely did with that song. And it made it interesting. I was intrigued to keep going musically through the piece as much as I was intrigued about the next bit of trauma that would float to the surface lyrically.
That's one of the things I like about Peter Gabriel is he doesn't obey the rules of music. And he doesn't obey them in a non-traditional way. In other words, he's kind of making his own path through music, kind of the way you could say Paul Simon did, kind of the way a bunch of people have, create their own path and do their own thing. So you mentioned the bass line. Well, our friend Tony Levin, we've talked about Tony a lot.
We have enough that like name was in my brain.
Yeah. We've seen him with King Crimson. We've seen him with Yes. Tony Levin, he gets around, and he's just great. He's just great. He was Peter Gabriel's main session bassist from those days, where he would push different people around different places. I think Tony Levin was probably one of his most consistent collaborators in the studio. So there's that. Anyway, yeah, I think you kind of nailed it. It is definitely digging in the dirt is digging into yourself to deal with your emotions after a tragedy or a breakup or something like that. So I think that pretty well describes it, Dave. I'm going to give you closer to an 85% on that one.
I'm fine with that. I got the basis of the song. I was wrong on the why, but I was but I was right on the what it's actually about, and that it's digging through trauma. I just picked the wrong trauma.
Yep, that's all. Now you want to talk trauma. One of Peter Gabriel's biggest groundbreaking videos was for the song Sledgehammer. I don't think we saw that. Anyway, it's a stop motion.
I love stop motion.
Right. Only his real face is in it. It isn't like a picture of his face. It's his real self, his real body, his real face in the video with all the stop motion stuff happening around him. After that video, I mean, he described it as a terrible experience that he never wants to repeat. Well, guess what he repeated for this song?
Did he?
Let me give you some of the things, it's interesting. Let's see here. In the video, there's disturbing imagery, including Peter Gabriel being buried alive, consumed by an overgrowth of foliage, flying into a rage while trying to swat a wasp after being stung.
Oh, man.
There's a psychological Freudian picture right there, huh? So, yeah, it was stop motion and claymation, not using computer graphics.
I adore claymation. I think it is such an incredible art form. I love claymation movies. I really, really enjoy that style a whole lot, and I wish it was a more common thing. I mean, I think CGI has become so cheap and easy comparatively that the time-intensive nature of a lot of that stuff now is just not really done. And so much of stop motion, it's like one person standing in the middle of a tiny stage just moving things for 8-10 hours a day slowly, to put together a movie. And I love the dedication to the minutia that it takes to make a good stop motion movie. So I'm a fan. I'm going to go watch those. Well, this one. I will go watch this one just out of curiosity. If we do Sledgehammer, obviously I can't go watch Sledgehammer yet, but I would like to at some point, maybe. I don't know. Is it a good song?
Sledgehammer is a great song, and boy, come to think of it, I'd love to hear you parse those lyrics.
It's about a construction worker, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the end?
And now for something completely different.
All right, you ready?
Let's go for it.
All right. Let's say one of the Great Lakes became ill.
Okay. I mean, realistic due to modern pollution. As of the recording of this video, like half of Ohio is covered in a toxic cloud, because a bunch of people didn't feel like doing their job and keeping things safe. So yeah, sure. A lake is sick. I'm in.
Would you rather have a toxic cloud or a white balloon from China?
A white balloon from China. That's not even close. A toxic cloud kills hundreds of thousands of people and or causes cancer to people who don't deserve it. One balloon that looks at me. Hi, balloon.
I'd pick my nose as it went by.
Yeah, like it's the grand scheme of my life, I choose balloon over toxic cloud 100%.
All right, so let's say the Great Lakes became quite ill. In order for them to be covered by Canada's national health care, they must border the country in at least one place. So which of the Great Lakes wouldn't be covered in that situation?
Oh, man. Oh, that's a good one. Huron?
I think I heard a buzzer there. Is that your final?
Yeah. I listed them all, and I eliminated most of them, and then it was, and then I just took my shot.
The answer is sadly Lake Michigan.
Yeah, it was the other
The
one.
good news is she's covered at work. So
it was Michigan or Huron that I was torn between, and at some point you just 50-50 shot it. Such is life.
Good times. There you go. Hey, yeah, we got to get more, I think, Peter Gabriel. I don't like all Peter Gabriel, but I think we got to get you into some more Peter Gabriel. And his video concerts, they're just amazing. Like in the Secret World Live video version of that song we just did, he's wearing a helmet with a camera on it. And at one point, he shoves a camera down his throat, and you see he's right. And
Is he singing? Like, did you see his vocal cords singing or something?
It goes, and you do see like the inside of his throat. I haven't figured out whether like he just puts it partway in and the rest of it's like a video playback, or he's actually doing it live. I don't know, but it's fascinating video. All of his concerts are just entire programs, entire shows.
Good for him. Good for him for putting on a show. You know, I approve. The weirder, the better, I say. Just go for it.
I'm on it.